evaporator fan isn't spinning. It's not hitting ice or locked up. So we're gonna take it apart and see if we got voltage going. Alright, so I removed the fan completely, and it has a little coupler in there. So I'm testing voltage at the coupler, and I've got 203. So I've got voltage, so voltage was getting to the fan. Bad fan. We're gonna run to the parts house, grab a new fan, motor, and blade. BRB. All right, so we got a brand new motor and blades. And it's always a game to get it fought into the, which is why we're filming it. So you can see that you're not alone in the headache. There you go.
Baby, that one's in.
So the parts house had a motor that was an aftermarket motor. That was a quote-unquote universal motor. And we opted for the OEM, and I'll show you why now. We took the old motor with us so we could show them. And I want you to look at how close this motor is to the coil. Like, it's right against it. Yeah. Yeah, so the other universal motor was a ½ inch longer and it wouldn't have fit. So, and then there's just a connector down there that's gonna plug into. And then what we'll do when it's all said and done is we'll zip tie, because we're gonna have the blade on there, right? So we're gonna zip tie this into that so that it doesn't rest in the water or make contact with the heater, because that's the other problem, is the cables will drop down and make contact with that heater and it defrosts and it'll burn out. So then we're gonna just put the nuts up here. Well, we're gonna put the fan blade on, then put the nuts up there, fire it up and test it, and we will show you the results of that. All right, so fan blade's on. We use that as a depth guide so we know the same depth. Reattached our temperature probe. We've got everything on and secured. John just hit the brake. On a beat. Back up and running. This is really interesting. This thing is putting out frozen air. This, almost no air at all. That motor is spinning in the wrong direction, or she's not spinning much at all. With the other one dead, we had no frame of reference. That's interesting. Are we blocked up? Ah, okay. We also aren't going to get much airflow because the coil is frozen up. Alright, we're going to defrost that coil, and then we'll check it again. So we defrosted the coil, and it was frozen all the way through. So we were getting no airflow behind this fan. Now I got good airflow out of both. Obviously I've got a little more out of this one, but we got good airflow. We're going to let it run and pull down. I am going to go to the roof and just check, make sure nothing looks strange up there. So we're up on the roof just watching it run. We have a nice clear sight glass, so we're good on that. We opened up the electrical panel just to see while we're here. You hear that? This contactor is vibrating like crazy. So, I checked the voltage up top, 202, like 1 to 2, 202, 1 to 3, 202, 2 to 3, 202. Now I want to check it coming out the bottom. All right, 202, 202, 202. So actually, we don't have voltage loss yet. What you can see is this doesn't close all the way, and then you only get 198, 180 out of here, and then you start single phasing, and that becomes a problem. I'm gonna replace this contactor because I'm here. It's an inexpensive part, and it's definitely failing. It's Friday afternoon, and what's gonna happen is this is gonna fail on the weekend, and then we're gonna have an emergency service call. So sit tight. All right, so remove the old contactor. The one I have is a little bigger. It's a beast, but it's the same numerically. So 3-pole 208. We tried our best to wire for wire, but it's tight. So we're gonna go ahead and fire it up now. Looky there. Just pulled right in. We've got compressor, we've got fan. We set the defrost timer. It's about 130, so we set it for 130. This way we come up here next week and we find that this timer, they're having a lot of ice issues in there, but I don't see that there's anything wrong with the timer yet. So I could mark this and we could wait an hour and see if it moves. I'm just gonna set it for the proper timer. And then I'll come back on Monday or Tuesday and we'll see if the time is wrong, then we know that we have a failing clock as well. But for now, change the contactor, change the fan, good to go. No weekend breakdown.